Okay, saw the Mustang coming at you with another solid review right here, and we are reviewing Forza 5. Now, you may be in racing games, you may not be, and that's just personal choice. I love cars, I love the styling, um, you know, so you've seen some of my other reviews on cars I've been able to drive. So anyway, Forza 5. And I like to start out with customer service. Now, normally we get into that later. Turn 10 and their customer service is fantastic. Fantastic. How good is it? I wrote a letter to them um, asking for the Corvette and what you're seeing right here, which came out actually the day after I sent the letter, go figure, and also, a few ideas for the next one. And I like to do this. I like to actually give feedback. It's at no time is it ever, oh, hey, you guys are, jerks, you guys are idiots. It's respectful. Never gotten a response from anybody except for Term 10. And head of studio productions, Phil Frazier, wrote me back, thanking me for taking the time to write it. Thought it was really cool that one of the race courses in here, Prague, that my wife picked out. The cafe they went to was on the street, and she could pick it out. That's cool. And my suggestion was to do more cities. And so, anyways, wrote back. I know you can't always write back and stuff like that, but in his letter said I took the time to write a physical letter and send it to him. He was going to do the same to me. Huh? And the other thing is, any problems that came up with the multiplayer, it was fixed sometimes within hours. I'd notice it, and then you go back and people would try to do it again, and they couldn't do it. They try to drive, say, make a cut across here, go, across, and get way ahead of people on the racetrack, or maybe there was a hole in the track or something like that they could get outside, or whatever the case may be. I think the longest I ever saw one was like 12 hours. Now, can you imagine Call of Duty or Battlefield fixing all their problems within a few hours? Somebody outside the map within a few hours, you couldn't do it? What are you talking about? It takes them like 3-4 months to do. And there's not that much of a fundamental difference between the two. So, and there's plenty of action in here to get everything that goes on right here. If you hit cars, pieces go flying. It could be just so much better. And as you may have noticed, I am on the Top Gear track. They do work with Top Gear, who is having all kinds of problems. And apparently Jeremy Clarkson got into it with one of the producers, and has reportedly, in some places, been fired. Now, I've heard anything from yelling, screaming obscenities to actual physical violence. And in the workplace, that's just unacceptable. You can't be doing that. But at the same time, instead of just punishing Jeremy Clarkson, fining him, firing him for the next season, they decided to pull the whole show off the air. So they punished all the viewers mid-season. That makes no sense. I mean, you've already paid the guy for what you've already produced. If next year it's not going to come back because of all this, that's one thing. And the other thing I have a problem with is that the BBC did not punish the producer. It takes two to tango. And I believe Jeremy Clarkson, he probably does have some anger management issues. There's a lot of people like that. But it takes two to tango. And I'm sure the obscenities written on the cars that they drove from Miami up to, I believe it was DC, I'm sure that wasn't done without the producers knowing it. the license plate thing in Argentina is another example. And I'm sure that wasn't done without the producers knowing what was going on. And what they did is they made a license plate referring back to the Falkland Islands, which is still a really sore subject in Argentina. And the people's reaction was totally blown, but that's besides the point. But you cannot tell me in these incidences and a few other ones that the producers didn't know what was going on. Yes, they did. They absolutely did. And there's also, some of the other things, there was a Floridian slip with the N-word. I'm not going to go into details. You can read about it if you want. Why wasn't it edited out? These shows are edited before they go on air. It's not that they do these things live. Why wasn't it edited? It should have been. So, that's my stuff on Top Gear. Anyways, I hope they figure it out and hope they don't punish the people, which right now that's what they're doing. So let's get into Forza. I've never had an issue with the single player. I never had an issue with multiplayer with my friends when we get on, just kind of link up and race on our own. Nothing. Never had a single problem. Nobody dropped from the game. Besides an Xbox, if the Xbox itself was having an issue, that's one thing. But because of the game, never had a problem with that. Like I said, with multiplayer, playing random people, if there was an issue, it was solved extremely quickly. They kept on top of their game, and when you play this game and as you look at it, the one headlight smashed out where I smashed in that Lamborghini and spun around. Look at the detail. The graphics in this game are phenomenal. A friend of mine bought this game who hates racing, and we'll get into Travis here in a little bit when we talk about the drivatars. And even he said the graphics were phenomenal. The graphics in these games are fantastic. My wife being able to pick out a cafe that she ate at in Prague. Really? The drivatar. That thing's really cool. The drivatar learns how you drive. And in my case, my friend Travis, he knows I'm better at that than him and these. He's not into racing games, but he got it to get a couple games for the Xbox One. When it first came out, this game came out with the Xbox One on time, by the way, and actually it was done early. I don't see anybody doing that around here. Destiny. Full game on time? Come on. But he will smash into me. Travis will smash into me every chance he gets. He even put FU, my name, on the back of his car, just so when he was in front of me, I could see that. So, that's not always on his car. If I race that specific class and that specific car comes up, it is there. Even when he's not online. And that's the thing with the drivatar, it's always driving. So you will earn money even when you're not on the game. Pretty cool. But the drivatar for Travis will smash into me every chance it gets. Another friend of mine, he will cut you off so you can't pass him. And his drivatar, even though he's not online, you try to pass him, he'll cut you off. It works. It's amazing. They did an amazing job at this. The cars, you see me here cycling through cars. There are literally hundreds of cars. And all different kinds, all different styles. You can see some really wacky ones, all different kinds of stuff. And they look great. The interior is the way the interior is on that car. And it doesn't matter which car you get. There's no generic interior. And I see that in a lot of other racing games. You use a generic interior. In here, there's not. I would like to see the customization, though, for the outside is phenomenal. You see me play around with it here in a little bit, and you can see some of the other stuff. But let's get a Ferrari here. But the customization on the interior, I like to be able to change the colors. Like on my Corvette, I love the hunter green on this Corvette. I think that's the best color on them.
A Ferrari is
To
built
each
for
their own.
one
But
purpose:
I like they
performance.
make it, I
The
think they call
gold
it
standard of
saddleback
high-end machines, Ferrari has been the
brown or
dominant force in
saddleback tan
racing
or
for the
something like
last
that
80
for the
years.
interior, which I
Their
love.
founder, Enzo Ferrari,
Yeah, I mean,
is
that would be
convinced.
the Corvette if I could go out and get one that I want to get. And unfortunately, you can't customize the interiors yet. That was one of my suggestions in the letter they said they'd like, along with those cities. Um, so, that'd be a little thing. We were talking about the Top Gear guys. There's three of them. You got Jeremy Clarkson, who I mentioned before. The other two is James May, who, by the way, has a Ferrari 458. So why not, have a camouflage Ferrari 458? Um, and Richard Hammond is the other one. But I would like to race those guys. Can I race James May in his silver Ferrari 458? Can I, race Richard Hammond in his 68 Mustang? Can race Jeremy Clarkson in his favorite car of all time, the Lexus LFA, through any track they want? Whether it be Laguna Seca in California, or Spa in Belgium, or Silverton in England. Whatever the case may be, I'd like to race them. You can race the Stig, and if they need to get rid of a race thing, there's one I really like to see a type of race to get rid of. You have to race, you're timed, and you have to go through all these barrels and not hit the barrels, and yeah, it's like a learning course, and just yeah, take that out. That's one thing I would improve. I would take that out. Um, Couple things of other things for room improvement since we're here and we're doing a solid review, so I'm going to give the good and the bad. And it's really not bad. It's just they're little things, and none of them have to do with how the cars handle, because they handle phenomenally. How they act, how they come apart. If you put the damage on realistic, the cars act the way they would act in real life. You know, or very close simulation to it. I know it's a game, it's going to be probably a little off, I get that, but still. Yes, you can flip the cars, by the way. Somebody was trying to tell me you can't flip a car in Forza. Yes, you can. I almost did it there earlier. I do apologize for a couple load screens here. Just kind of messing around so you can see some of the colors and stuff. Um, but I like to see more cities. I think it'd be awesome to be able to race around Paris or London or New York. Think of it as if Grand Prix racing was as popular as soccer is around the world. So literally all these cities will close down and allow a racetrack in the middle of town. My hometown, Columbus, Ohio, used to do that. Um, the Columbus 200 had Indy cars. They would shut down the city and they would race around the city on Indy cars. There are other places that do that. Prague does that. And I think that would be really cool. So, um, starting points, I would like to start not always mid-back and have to fight my way through the pack, but have it more randomized. Um, and I'd like to see a marketplace like Forza 4 had a really good marketplace, and it was well done. Couple little tweaks to it could have been done, but they kind of removed it all together. I mean, you can still do custom stuff, and people can still get your paint, schemes and stuff like that. But I'd like to see that where you could buy cars and stuff like that from other people. The garage, I'd like to see a different garage. A garage where maybe you have all your trophies or something, or banners hanging up or something like that, in your top 10 cars. You pick out 10 cars you want on display, and anybody can go into your display garage and see what cars you got there. I think that'd be kind of cool. So overall, though, Um, let's see. Let's pick out a Lamborghini here. 'Cause, I mean, Ferrari, Lamborghini, you gotta do them, right? Overall, this game has a really, really, really high quality. And you can tell they put the time. You can tell they put the efforts in. They didn't mess around. They didn't say, "Oh, we can, do this fancy little thing, or we can do this," and then it blows up into something else that really screws up the whole game. Call of Duty, and I just
This is your
there's a quality to this
1988
game that is
Lamborghini
fantastic,
Countach
and
LP
I wish other
5000
companies
GT.
such as Activision, such as EA, which by the way, neither one of them run this one. This one is a Microsoft product, actually. Turn 10 is part of Microsoft, is part of their game development division. But I would really like to see them, have this quality and have that kind of a customer service. No, you cannot call them, and I understand that. I mean, companies would be flooded with calls. But the forums, they answer questions. They get on there. They do events with the fans on Fridays. They actually do events. It's called Forza Fridays. They do all kinds of events, give away prizes, and not just things on the video game, but real prizes. And if you write a nice enough letter, somebody gets back with you. I mean, you will never, ever, ever, ever get that from a Vandahar or anybody else within Activision, DICE, Treyarch, Infinity Ward, or um, who might Sledgehammer Games. You're not going to get that from any of them. So, but why not? I know you can't always write back, but at the same time, these guys listen to their fans. So if you like racing games, this is a great one to get. Forza 5. Anyways, thanks a lot for listening. Solid Mustang, and I've got your 6.